What's going on, guys? Welcome to another edition of the RPO College Football Podcast, your favorite college football podcast. My name is Jerome Jones, and I'm here with none other than the man, the myth, the legend. You already know who he is, Mr. Ray Roberts. How you doing today, sir?
I'm good, Jerome. How are you?
Doing good, doing good. Trying to get through this. I got toothache right now, guys, so my energy is low. I'm just like it's a pain right now. I feel like I'm having hot flashes, so keep getting hot, keep getting cold, keep getting hot, keep getting cold. It's a little crazy right now, but I'm doing fine, man. Outside that, I'm definitely doing good. How you been?
Good. Busy at work, but I'm good.
Definitely. Before we get started, guys, just want to let you know, as always, we are sponsored by Phenom. Phenom Athletics is going to be helping you guys get your best Phenom equipment, your best football equipment, your baseball equipment, all that. You have all that on Phenom. So if you go to PhenomEliteBrand.com, you get all the greatest merch and great stuff, man. And I'll be showing a lot of this later on, but definitely you can get a nice little discount if you want to as well with inside the hashes. So we got a promo code at the top, as you see right up there. It is IEdge football, and you can get 10% off of that, 10% off anything that you purchase from Phenom. And man, that just saves money, man. Save you some cash, man. It's hard times out here, so save you some cash. 10% off using our promo code IEdge football right there, as you see at the top. So thanks again for that. But right, I just want to start getting into our topics today, man. We're gonna be talking about interior defensive alignment and edge rushers, man. So last week we got through all of our offense. So if you guys have missed that, we did quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, tight ends, and offensive linemen. So make sure you go back and check that out if you want to see how our guys rank on them. But today we're doing the defense and starting off with the defensive line. Before we get to our rankings, Ray, all together, how do you feel about this defensive line class or defensive line in general?
I think the edge class is pretty good. I think the defensive tackle class is good, but not as good as last year.
Yeah, you got a couple of guys at the top. You got some solid guys sprinkled in there as well. I'm excited to see who you have as your top guy for sure, because I got two guys I'm really high on. I'm curious if you have them as high as I am. But let's get right into it, guys. Let's get right into it. So we're going to start off with interior defensive linemen. And we're going to go from 5 to 1. And Ray, I'm going to let you start it off.
I'll start off by I do have a 5A and a 5B real quick. So I have Kenneth Grant from Michigan at 5A, and I got Harold Cross from Notre Dame at 5B.
Okay.
A little contrary in styles. Grant is a bigger guy, more of a one or a nose tech or a zero tech. Bigger guy where Harold Cross is more of a one penetration, one gap type of a player. But both good football players for their teams. So
100%. Yeah, I like both guys. I actually have Kenneth Grant at number 5 as well, Ray.
Okay.
Really good interior guy. Part of that the reason why Michigan's defense was so good was the defensive line last year, man. They dominated, looked really good. I'm excited to see what they do this year. I know we got a couple of transfers that came in and everything like that. So I'm definitely excited to see how the defensive line play this year. I'm super excited about it. And Kenneth Grant is definitely one of those guys. Big guy, really nifty on his feet, really strong. I'd like to see a little bit more production out of him this year. Hopefully, he can take that next step. So, man, him and the other guy, I'm sure we're both going to talk about him soon.
We will.
I'm really high on those guys for sure.
Yeah,
definitely. All right, let's get to your number 4, Ray. Who you got?
Number 4 is Tyler O'Needham from Iowa State. Mm-hmm. A 6'4", 295-pound guy who's a very good pass rusher for an interior guy. But I would like to see him be a little bit stronger in his core strength and be a little better against the run. He's not bad. I just want him to be a little bit more better. I want him to trust his eyes a little bit more. It seems like he's trying to look in the backfield and see things before they're there. So.
And who was that again, Ray?
Tyler O'Needham from Iowa State.
Gotcha. Yeah, I actually don't have him in my top five, Ray. I have a couple of guys that are really close together in that like 5, 6, 7 range. He's one of those guys. I don't have him in my top five, but I have in my top five. At number four, I have Devontae Walker. He plays for he plays for
Kentucky.
yes. Um, I got a couple of guys that I have a little bit higher than him. I do like him a lot. Again, this is top five. Some people have him a little bit higher, but he's a big dude, 6'6", 348 pounds. He's not a small guy for sure. He's always bigger. So I want to see him a little bit more production out of him. He had 51 pressures last year. Sophomore year, which is a good thing. I love to see him kind of growing that, but I think he's going to be definitely a good player for sure. I just have a couple of guys a little bit higher than him in my. All right, Ray, you want to get number three?
Why have Deontay Walker actually at number 3 from Kentucky? Agreed. He's more of a nose one tech type of a kid. We do need to see more consistency as a pass rusher, but he's 350 pounds, man. He is what he is. He's a good player, but he is what he is. He's there to stop the run, basically.
No, 100%. Yeah, he's a huge dude. Like I said, I'm excited to see what he does this year. My number 3 guy will be actually Harold Cross from Notre Dame. So I know Ray knows a lot about him, but really good production guy. Really did really well as a run stopper last year. 5th year, he's gonna be his 5th year senior. So I'm excited to see how he does. A little on the smaller side, 6'1", 284 pounds, so he's a little bit smaller than you would like. But I really like his production for a smaller guy, and we've been seeing some defensive tackles that are a little bit smaller, but having some production. So I want to see how that goes. What's your thoughts on him, Ray?
I have him in my top 5. I had him like 5A, 5B, whichever you want to put him. Again, I look at him as Needham from Iowa State. Similar guys, and they're a little bit lighter. They're not quite as big, but they do rush the quarterback. And I think that's why you see both of them guys rated fairly high, because they get to the quarterback. And we know it's a passing league, so you got to get to the quarterback. So.
100%. Yeah, that's why I have him a little bit higher than Walker, but those two are interchangeable to me, in my opinion.
Yeah.
All right, so look, we might have the same top 2. I'm very surprised. But
I think honestly, in a perfect scenario, unless you're a true 4-3 team, a 3-4 team, you want to have a one tackle who is a run guy and one guy that can get up the field. Yeah, that's usually how it works.
Yeah, 100%. All right, number 2.
Number 2 is Tyreek Williams from Iowa State.
Okay, nice.
6'3", 330. Stats are solid. They're not great, but as an interior defensive lineman, he's good against the run, and he gets to the quarterback. So,
100%. I made that face because I was actually very surprised with that, right? Because there's a player that I'm about to mention now, my number 2. It only like you have when you're number 5. I mean, you're top 5. Unless you're about to pin him lower. But my number 2 guy is gonna be Peter Woods from Clemson.
okay.
I'm very high on him. As a true freshman, came in and played. He had Rucaro and Tyler Davis in front of him and still shined. I really do think he's gonna be a huge problem for offenses this year, man. He got that big build on him. I don't have his size right here currently. I'll look at that in a second. But Peter Woods, man, I really think he's gonna be a dog, man. He's only 19 years old and looking like he is right now, playing the way he is. I'm trying to pull up his. He is 6'2", 315 pounds. Got the athletic ability, can move around. I think that might even be wrong because that is his high school measurables. Yeah, I got the same here. Okay. So yeah, but yeah, I'm super excited to see what Peter Woods do. Tell me what you think about Peter Woods and why you don't think
I'm a fan, but one good year as opposed to a couple of these guys have like 2 or 3 good years. So that's all. That's the only difference. I'm a fan. If you wanted me to put him on athleticism, he's probably as athletic as any of these guys I just mentioned. Yeah. But I need to see him do it more than 1 year. That's all.
Yeah. I'm going more on his upside.
No, I get that. I get that.
So it's just the fact that, the two players that I just mentioned, Tyler Davis and Ruperaro. Obviously, Ruperaro went to the NFL and got drafted by Falcons. So, for him to be playing with those two guys in front of him and still be as productive as he was as a true freshman just tells me, like, he's about to really go off right here. And, my number one guy might be in trouble if he plays the way I think he might play. So, as far as ranking, let's start ranking, right? But yeah, so number one guy, Ray, I think we got the same guy.
Mason Graham.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Production's there, winner, makes plays when it matters. He's the whole package, basically. So,
Yeah, there was times where they tried to double team him, and he still got off of double teams, especially that Alabama game. He was really wreaking havoc against that Alabama at the end of the Alabama game. And I think that's the game that really had people really like. I know people knew about Mason Graham, but I think that Alabama game, he really showed who he was, and I was like, man, thank you.
They had no answer for him, and he really exposed Alabama's wanting to be a very finesse offensive line and couldn't handle a guy that didn't want to have nothing to do with it. Mason Graham was a man, like most of Michigan's defensive line, they're mostly physical kids, man. And Alabama has a good offensive line. Their offensive line was okay last year, but very finesse.
Yeah.
Very try to just move guys or wheel guys out of the way as opposed to drive blocking them or moving them with your body. They wanted to just move them this way or that way with their athleticism, but that didn't work against Michigan because they were just too physical. So,
100%. I agree. All right, let's. So Mason Graham, go for our number one overall interior. Let's get to rising star. So actually, Ray, I don't have a rising star today. I've just been too busy today trying to take care of my tooth, which is hurting still. So I haven't been able to get a rising star, but I want to hear who you got, Ray.
I have Joshua Farmer from Florida State. Interior, big kid, 6'3", 315, 5 sacks, 10 solo tackles, 32 total tackles complete. I mean, kid had a really nice year, and Florida State's defense was very good last year. So, I mean, I would love to see him get to the quarterback a little bit more than that. But, 5 sacks from an interior defensive lineman is a pretty good number. So.
Oh, yeah. No, I agree. I agree with that. Yeah, I really like him, Ray. I'm surprised you actually said that. If I would have had a list, I think I might have had him as well. I really would have.
I mean, we all know the Florida State's defense was really good last year until their offense just fell apart without the quarterback. Their defense was really good last year. Mm-hmm. And Joshua Farmer, I think, when it's all said and done, right now, he's a 4th-round pick, but I expect him to be like late second, early third when it's all said and done.
A spot where, Fisk went, I think he went second, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, again, talking about a kid who has the size, he's an athlete. I mean, we know Florida State recruits good athletes, so he's an athletic kid. I mean, he had a really nice year last year, and he's still young. He's only 19 years old, so,
Nice. Yeah, man. I'm excited about this season, man. I'm definitely excited about the season, especially when we're talking about defense. I love defense.
You know what? I don't know if I'm excited, but, man, I've really had to look at the conferences now because they're so different.
Yeah. This year's going to be a lot different. You got the 12-team playoffs now. You got a lot of recruiting stuff that's going to be different now with how they're going to be doing their recruiting. You got the NIL situation that changed that we talked about a couple of podcasts ago. I think it'll be a new season. I'm excited to see how it goes because it's a lot of unknown. But as always, I'm excited. Got I'm sure you don't really play, right? But the college football video games coming back out, and I know everybody's really excited about that.
Yeah, I don't play video games, so no,
Yeah,
I'm
Gary,
lost. Man. I don't play video games, man.
I got you. I got you.
Never have.
I remember your son was really big on it though.
Oh yeah,
Really big.
yeah. Ryan Love. Well, he used to love them. I don't know. I guess he still plays sometimes. I don't know that, to be honest with you.
Yeah, gotcha. But yeah, I'm excited about that. Can't wait for that to come back out. But let's get into our edge rushers now, Ray. Top 5 edge rushers. I'll let you go at number 5.
Again, 5A, 5B. I got Patrick Payton from Florida State and Danny Dennis from Penn State.
Nice.
Both 6'5" kids. Peyton is 254 pounds. Dennis is 269 pounds. Both good productive players. Payton's a little bit more of a pass rusher, where Dennis is more of a strong side end. Gets to the quarterback a little bit, but not quite as much. But both good football players. Both good. Penn State's defense was good last year. Florida State's defense was good last year. I don't want to start killing James Franklin already for being a bad coach, but
Gotta throw a jab in there, Ray. Got to. It wouldn't be right if he didn't.
you don't get it, man.
My number 5 guy is gonna be Ruben Bain from Miami, another freshman with a lot of upside. Last year as a freshman, 7.5 sacks, 3 forced fumbles. Played very, very well as a true freshman. He is 6'3", 275 pounds. Florida. That's Florida must have Miami. Miami has been a really up and down team, but he's been very consistent in what he's been doing, especially when he got on the field a lot more. I would love to add on to that. He did have a sack in the pinstripe bowl as well. So excited to see what he does this year. Again, another young guy. Pretty young, and like I said, I'm going for a lot of upside with a lot of my picks. So I want to see how he does this upcoming season.
Yeah, good football player, still young, but I don't have him in my top 5. But I see the upside. So
All right, number 4 for you, Ray.
I have Princely Humani. I hate this name. Human Meal from Ole Miss. 6'5", 255, 260. Good football player. Good against the run. Gets to the quarterback. I think he had double-digit sacks this past year. So he's a good football player. I just wish his name made more sense than it's spelled. So
Don't ask me. You know how I am with my name, Grant.
You know what? Here's the problem. Every time I hear someone pronounce his name, they pronounce it different. Every time. So it's almost like they got to get on like an Ole Miss magazine or something to find, or a podcast or something to find out actually how his name is said.
Yeah. Yeah, very interesting. But yeah, I don't have him in my top 5, Ray, but interesting kid right there. I actually have a player on the opposition, and that would be Jack Thayer from Ohio State. Did pretty well last year, 6.5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles. I think I really like how he is. I like him better than his counterpart, JT Tulamola Alu. Yeah, something like that. Yeah. But they got you just talking about names. They have Ohio State got some good pass rushers, man, and I think Jack Thayer is a really good one. He's going to be even better with those 2 coming back. I don't want to say too much great stuff about Ohio State players, but I think he's going to be fine. I think he's going to be good. What's your take on him, Ray?
No, I'm a fan. I think he's a good football player, too. I just think that need to see a little more. No, that's all. That's all.
All right, let's get to your number 3, Ray. Who you got?
Nick Scorton from Texas A&M. No, I really like this kid. He's big. He's long. He's athletic. He gets to the quarterback. He plays the run. He can play both sides of the defensive end. He can play strong side, weak side. He does enough of everything to really be a productive player. Stats are good. I think he's going to be like a late first round pick, to be honest with you. I think there's a lot of upside there. So,
I'm saying. My number 3 guy is another upside guy. Played for UTSA last year. He just transferred to Texas, and that would be Trey Moore. Last year, 14 sacks, 1 forced fumble. He actually had an interception as well as a sophomore. So he's going through his junior year. It's going to be interesting to see how he does. Obviously, they don't have Devontae Sweat anymore. Just got drafted. So he's a really good replacement. Obviously, he played in a smaller conference, so you want to see him kind of play against some of the big boys. But if he can keep up with what he's been doing at UTSA, he'll be fine because he had 8 sacks in his freshman year as well. So 8 sacks freshman year, 14 sacks last year. Kept getting better and better. I want to see him do it against good competition. But if he's as good as we've been looking at, and there's a reason why Texas got him, he's going to be a dog.
Yeah, I think that he's a really good football player, Jerome. I don't know. I think he only played in a 3-4, though.
Yeah, I think so.
At least at the next level. There's a lot of – the production is there. He looks the part, but he does freelance a little bit. So they kind of just let him loose there. I want to see what he does in a more traditional defense of Texas. I think there's absolutely plus talent there, without a doubt. But we'll see how he gets once he gets into a bigger conference. That's all.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, again, like I'm doing a lot of upside with some of these guys, but I want to see how this goes. All right, number 2, right?
Yeah. With him, though, the production is there. You just want to see him do it again on a bigger stage. That's all.
Exactly. All right, number 2, right? Who you got?
I have James Pierce from Tennessee at number 2. Again, hybrid, outside linebacker, defensive end. Probably better off playing outside linebacker, but very productive. Tennessee's, has athletes all over the place. So, good football player. Again, a little bit like you just said about freelance is a little bit too much for me right now, but the production's there, and he's a good, willing tackler. He'll miss tackles every once in a while. That's all.
Definitely. Well, I definitely have him on my list, but I don't have him at number 2. So that kind of, course, that's what it has. But my number 2 guy is Ashton Gillette. I think that's how you say his name, from Louisville. He was a dog last year. Part of the reason why Louisville played so well, he actually played really well against you guys last year.
Yes, he did.
What do you say?
Yeah, he did. I remember the game. It wasn't fun for me.
I'm sure. But yeah, he 11 sacks last year. Forced fumble as well. Really good player, man. He got the build, 6'3", 270 pounds. I really want to see him go off this year, man, and I'm looking forward to seeing how he does. Like you said, right, he was in your backfield all game, that game, and I'm sure he burned that in the back of the head for sure.
They were smart. They lined him up at left end, which he's a big kid, so he's good there because he's a good, solid player against a run. And Blake Fisher sucks, so he ate him for lunch.
Oh, man, okay. I wasn't ready for that. I wasn't ready. Yeah, that's my number 2 guy. So, right, I'm here. See, so number 1.
My number 1 is Abdul Carter from Penn State.
Ooh.
Really, he's maybe the best player on their defense.
Ooh, I don't have him.
He had way more production than Chop Robinson did last year, dude. Way, way, way more.
Yeah,
that's a lot because Chop Robinson only had 4 sacks.
Yeah.
But he's not quite as athletic as Chop Robinson, but more physically stronger. His first step is right there with him. I think that I think Penn State's team is so good, and they're so underutilized on both sides of the ball. They really are, man.
They were talented. Remember how I was raving about them last year, Ray, in the offseason?
No, I remember, but it was justified if you look at the roster.
Terrified.
But then
Terrified.
then you forget, oh, James Franklin's over there.
You forget sometimes, you know?
That's
Oh,
well,
man.
you got to remember.
No, yes, you're right. So, so yeah, really do like them. I actually don't have them on my list at all. I think I just overlooked them, to be honest. So, if I was to do it over, I'd definitely put them in here for sure. I'll try to squeeze them in here some way. I definitely overlooked that. But my number one guy, you already talked about him, Jerry Pierce Jr. from Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me, Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, excuse me. 9.5 sacks, 2 4 fumbles, one interception at 6'5", 242 pounds. Everything you said, Ray, I agree with, man. A guy that you could have him my outside linebacker, could do a little bit both. He's very athletic
Mm-hmm.
for his size. I'm really looking for. He's a terror though, Ray. I seen him double teamed a lot when he was playing for them, man, and gonna be just coming into his junior year. That was his sophomore year last year, so a lot of upside with him. Gonna be able to see what he does. He started very early in his career. Even as a freshman, he had 2 sacks. And I know that number don't sound a lot, but coming in as a freshman, only having total of I think it was five games he played or something like that. And then last year he just exploded, So I'm
Mm-hmm.
sad to see what he does. He got the physical attributes that you want to see. That he's very fast, good with his hands, can get off that edge really well and have good bend. So I'm very curious to see what he does this year. You have him at 2, I have him at number 1. So not bad for sure. So yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry.
So let's get to your rising star, right? Who you guys are rising star?
I have Kamen Rucker from North Carolina. Again, man, a kid who's 6'2", 6'3", 265 pounds, gets to the quarterback, is solid against the run. And you know what? And I think he's going to be an edge guy. He'll play defensive end. And I'm going to give you one more. And this guy's Trey Thomas from Temple. I love Trey Thomas from Temple, man. I just love his length. I love his athleticism. He is going to play linebacker. He's not a true defensive end at all. He's only 225 pounds. But for that team, he kind of does a little bit of everything.
Any relation to
He's not.
the
He's not.
really?
He's not. It's not spelled the same either. The first name, I mean.
It's not. You say it is.
It's not spelled the same.
Wow.
So, but Trey Thomas, but a 6'4", 225-pound, hybrid defensive end, plays backs into coverage a little bit against tight ends, but not really. I wouldn't say it's a strong point for him, but he does do it. He shades in coverage. Like he'll step in between the line and the tight end or back coming out of the backfield. But he don't really make plays on the ball. He's just kind of covering them, But for Temple, he does a little bit of everything, Jerome.
Nice. I'm very curious to see some of these teams, these smaller teams, with some of these players, and see how they go. Temple is a smaller school. And I think Temple's going to have a good year this year. I really do, especially defensively.
I think they're getting better. The problem with Temple is when they'll take two, 3 steps forward and then take 2 back.
Yeah.
Part of it is hiring a coach that's going to stay here because they usually use Temple as a stepping stone to whatever job they really want.
Definitely.
I mean, Temple's had some decent teams the last few years. They had the one year where they were a top 10 team, I believe.
I remember that.
But again, it takes years of building that, and then as soon as that coach leaves, so does everything they kind of built.
Yeah. No, 100%. Yeah, and usually when you have a small school, but like they got a lot of production, they usually use their coach really fast.
I mean, you look at all the coaches that have been at Temple then just left after 3 years.
I mean, one I just went to the NFL.
Yeah, most of them have gone to the NFL. I think the guy that's in Boston College now used to coach at Temple, and it's just It's a shame because, you know what, man? Have you ever been to Temple's campus?
Yeah.
It's not a great neighborhood, man.
No.
I'll leave it. I'll leave it at that. Like,
It's
Jerome,
a very.
I work 15 minutes from there, 10, 15 minutes from there.
It's
But I
a
mean,
very.
where I work is considered Montgomery County, but I'm right off of Broad Street, man.
Mm.
As soon as it turns into 611 right there, when you enter Montgomery County, I'm right there. So
yeah, it's a very open space type of campus where it's like the campus and their classes are like scattered around the city. So it's like, and then it's not the greatest like part of the city either. So
it's not. And the problem is that like you want to be able to trust people, but it's really difficult right now because of money and how things are right now. It's very difficult to trust anyone.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, it's a shame to say, but it is. And when you're already in what's a rough part of the city, and you're dealing with like we had, just in the last couple of months, they've had like 50 cars broken into.
Jeez.
I mean, it's just happening everywhere right now, man. Like it's not, and it's not anywhere in particular. It's everywhere, you know?
Yeah. No, I hear you, man. So, well, that's not good for that. Real quick. Right. I think that's all I have. Anything you want to kind of talk about real quick?
Yeah, I have a nice little. I don't want to call it a rant, but we can call it a rant.
Good. Slight rant.
There you go, man. Thank God for the Miami Dolphins making a stand and telling Tua, no, market value is what we say you're worth, not what everyone else tells me you're worth, right? Okay?
Yeah.
Thank God, dude. It's about time somebody stood up for it. Of course, it was my team, and I wound up losing them, but, whatever. I mean, I don't want to get into the whole discussion. For all the people that are going to go, I like Tua. I think he's a good quarterback. He's not worth a dime over $40 million a year, though. And I'm glad the Miami Dolphins are finally making a stand. Trevor Lawrence, the contract that Jacksonville signed him to is ridiculous. Okay? The guy's won a playoff game, and he's put up average stats. And he's worth as much more than Patrick Mahomes is? What are we talking about, man?
He's getting more than Jalen Hurts. He went to a Super Bowl.
It's ridiculous, man. It's just a joke. I mean, this next man up crap has to stop.
I agree.
So thank God the Miami Dolphins. Now, again, it's still early on still, man. Like you saw Lamar Jackson go through the same thing, I think, last year, the year before, where he didn't sign until a month before the season started.
Yeah.
I think Joe Burrow last year or the year before maybe signed like a month before the season started. So they're all playing hardball now, but we'll see who blinks first.
Yeah. That's definitely true. Yeah, it's a weird dynamic with the quarterback thing. The Trevor Lawrence thing definitely caught me by surprise. I'm very curious to see.
Wow.
The number was insane. Numbers are insane.
Don't get me wrong. Jacksonville didn't write a bad contract. They're paying them too much money.
Yeah.
But they do have an out after 3 years without killing themselves.
That's true.
So, and it's instead of being like 180 million guaranteed, it goes back to like 130 or something like that after 3 years if they decide they don't want to go any farther. So they did kind of give themselves an out, but still the pay. Yeah, and we all like Trevor Lawrence, man. I'm not a hater, man. I don't root for anyone to fail. Nobody. 100%. And I think Trevor Lawrence is a talented kid with a pretty good coach. So there's a lot of potential there. But he's not done anything.
Money yet.
He's not done anything to be worth more than $40 million a year, dude. Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah. I'll say this though. With everything, I'm glad, and I know at the time we was all looking at it like, what the hell? But I'm glad that the Eagles got Jalen Hurts when they did, because
I mean, that's the other part of it with don't get me wrong, even though I like where Miami's standing right now, they could have probably wound up saving themselves a couple dollars if they'd have just signed him a year ago.
Yeah.
I understand that. But again, a year ago, we were worried about him being healthy all the time because he hadn't been healthy yet.
Correct. And you wasn't sure how you're gonna play with all those weapons.
Right. You don't like. He was pretty good 2 years ago until he got hurt. So I saw that, and I get that. But again, this year he stayed healthy, but he still doesn't have a signature win, man. He doesn't. For all the people that want to pretend like he's accomplished, yeah, he's stayed healthy. He's been productive. He's not had a signature win yet. Not one. Not one meaningful win. Couple early season, of course, where you're coming off a game and you play flat and you win at the end. Dallas game, for example. It's a good win, not a signature win. Signature win has to be either a conference game or in your division to win a division. That's a signature game. He's not done that yet. So what am I paying him over $40 million for? To be good? No. Damn it, no. Okay?
I will say this, though. I want y'all to sign him as soon as possible. Not for your sake. Not for Tua's sake. You know why?
Why?
Because the Dallas Cowboys are going to be such in a hole with all these quarterbacks are painter guys and that
I do not want anything to do with Dak Prescott. Give me wrong. I think Dak Prescott is a good quarterback. But again, he's not really – he's won a couple divisions, man. I'll give him that. He's not – but I don't know if he's carried his team to a division title. He's won a couple divisions. He's not had a signature win, though. He has not had a signature win. There's no question about that. And he's been in the league a lot longer than Tua. So that's a problem. I get that.
I mean,
I'll be honest with you, Jerome. You know what I would do if I were the Dolphins? Honestly, I know people are like, you're crazy. I would trade Tua. I would trade him to anybody that wants him.
Yeah.
Preferably Seattle. No, I won't trade him to Seattle. I want to trade him to New Orleans. People down there will love him because he has the Alabama connection.
Sure.
Their offensive line is horrible, so he will last 5 games before he's out of the season. And then I get a top 5 pick.
True. That's crazy. But yeah, I mean,
again, I like Tua, and I don't want any of that stuff to happen, really. But if I have to, I can't blink this time. You got to make a stand, man.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous what's going on with quarterbacks right now. Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league, right? No one's going to question that. You can't question it anymore, right? Anybody who tries to question it, go watch soccer, okay? It's a better sport for you, okay? But anyway, he is going to make, what, like $50 million this year? Something like that, between $40 and $55 million. That's 25% of his salary cap for his team. That's what people don't understand. But here's the difference. Patrick Mahomes can make average players look good.
He did a lot.
And that's why he's worth it, and no one else is, period.
Yeah.
I like Josh Allen. I think he's the next tier after Patrick Mahomes. I like Allen, Burrow. Dude, as much as I still think that Matthew Stafford is it? Yeah, I know. Dude. I still think that Matthew Stafford is a franchise quarterback.
Matthew, yeah.
I think he's probably, honestly, he's probably the best quarterback in the NFC. Who's better than him? Who else has a Super Bowl on his resume and probably is a Hall of Famer?
I mean, resume-wise, yeah, but as a quarterback right now,
you can argue that there's guys better than him in the AFC without a doubt. I don't know about the NFC, man. Who's better than him in the NFC? Jared Goff is good, but he's not better than Matthew Stafford. Jalen Hurts is good, but he's not better than Matthew Stafford. Not even now, he's not.
You might be right, actually.
I think of anybody who's better than him. When you go through the divisions, who's better than Matthew Stafford in the NFC? I don't think anybody. Because you look at the top 2 or 3 quarterbacks, they're all in the AFC.
Yeah. I mean, like almost the top 5.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I like Jordan Love as a prospect, and he's
Yeah,
got talent to be that guy, but he's not that guy yet right now.
I got one for you.
Good.
JJ McCaffrey.
That's hysterical. I know you're kidding, dude. That's
no, Ray, looking at it, you might be right about that. I mean, and this might be my bias, but I think the closest one next to him is Jalen Hurts.
Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, the NFC is,
I mean,
you got Hurts, you got Dak Prescott, you got, Jordan Love, you got Jared Goff, and
Goff is the one guy. Goff is the one guy. He's been to a Super Bowl. He's been to a Super Bowl. We went to the NFC Championship game last year. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's better, but I think he's the one guy who has some justification for saying it. I mean, Kirk Cousins has been super productive, but he's not been anything more than that.
People might throw in Purdy.
Purdy's been very good, but there's no one can tell me he's better than Matthew Stafford.
I don't think so. Yeah, you might be right about that. Matthew Stafford just needs to stay healthy, though. That's the big thing on him.
He does. Well, last year he didn't the whole year, but he was healthy a good part of it. And again, man, of course, anytime you're talking about a quarterback in their mid-30s, but you're also talking about an era where quarterbacks usually play in their late 30s, early 40s now. Mm-hmm. Kirk Cousins is like 36, right? I think him and Stafford are around the same age.
Yeah. Kirk Cousins is 35 with her birthday coming up.
Stafford is like 36, I think, or maybe 37. I mean, I like Baker Mayfield, but not everybody does. He's not better as Matthew Stafford, but he's a good quarterback.
Yeah. They only a few months apart. Matthew is 26. He just turned 26 in February. So
yeah.
But yeah, man. You came up with. That's a good point, man. Just the quarterbacks in the NFC, not as good as you think. I mean,
there's
solid guys. There's some solid guys, but no.
There's a hint, right? There's a hint. Here's the problem, dude. Really, you have them guys we just mentioned. To me, this is my opinion. Matthew Stafford is the only franchise quarterback. Everybody else we talked about was a system player. In the AFC, I think you have
Joe Burrow,
right?
Josh Allen,
Mahomes.
Your best friend.
You could even say
your best friend.
System player, dude. I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about true franchise quarterbacks, dude. He's not one of them. So, Joe Burrow.
Look at Aaron Rodgers in here.
The one that really annoys me, that dude, is Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson has tremendous ability, dude, and he has no heart.
Yeah. Let's see about that. CJ Stroud looked like a good player.
I love CJ Stroud, but again, very young, so we'll see.
I'll
be honest with you, Jordan Love, when it's all said and done, may be the second best quarterback in the NFC.
Yeah. That's crazy. That is crazy.
I mean, last year, dude, I know it was his first year, but 64% completions, over 4,000 yards, 32 touchdown passes, 11 picks, and 247 rushing yards.
Yeah.
Dude, that kid's pretty fucking good, man.
It really is.
Pretty damn good, man. I mean, yeah, he sat on the bench like you should, which is fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember.
It's crazy how many good quarterbacks are in one spot right now. So it is, but
there's a lot of good quarterbacks in the league still. Just a lot of them. Again, man, there's like a handful of true franchise guys, and then there's a lot of Tua, Dak Prescott, Jalen Hurts, even Kirk Cousins. They're like system players, man. You block, you put guys around them, they get rid of the ball, they do their job. Dude, Lamar Jackson, as talented as he is a system player. That's why he only puts up average passing numbers, but his rushing numbers are off the board because he's a system player. That's my only knock against him, dude. People act like I hate him. No. I think that he's paid like he's one of the top 2 or 3 quarterbacks in the league, and he's not. That's all.
Yeah. 100%. Well, that's going to do it for us today, guys. I got to get out of here because my tooth is hurt. I'm trying to hold on as much as I can, for sure. But I love talking football with you, Ray, so that's why I stayed in there. Appreciate you. That was Ray's rant, guys. Make sure you go check out all our great stuff on our website, InsideTheHatchet.com. You can go to that QR code right over there, right under Ray. You scan that, and right behind you. You can scan that and find all our social media as well. You can follow us on all our social media. That will definitely help and support us. We've got some great stuff, interviews, players, photos, highlight videos of players, things like that. You got a lot of great stuff coming up. So make sure you go and help and support, man. And also, like I said, this is sponsored by Phenom. So thank you guys for Phenom for sponsoring us. Once again, go on PhenomEliteBrand.com. You get gloves, cleats, mouthpieces, whatever you are. If you are an athlete right now, you definitely go on that website and get you some great merch. And we are giving you a 10% discount. So save some bread. If the economy is not great, you want to save as much as you can. Use that promo code right above Ray's head, IEdge football. Put in the promo code a spot, get 10% off, and be fresh when you go out there on the field this winter. So once again, guys, thank y'all so much. I'm Jerome Jones. That's Ray Roberts. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you on the next one. We'll be talking linebackers next week. So see you on that one. Peace.